Hey everybody, welcome to GratiTube TV. I'm Frank Clark, also known as Mr. Orange to some of my friends.
Hi, I'm Jason Caras, and today's subject today is about managing divorce. Not dealing with divorce, not surviving through divorce, but managing divorce.
Right, managing divorce.
So let's start with divorce itself.
Yeah, I mean, divorce, let's face it, is an ugly word. It's an ugly situation. Even if they end amicably or nasty, divorce is, it's a tough chapter in anybody's life. And Jason and I have both been through this. Mm-hmm.
Some are friendly, some of them are not. Most of them. Most of them are not, unfortunately.
Right. And the purpose of this particular show is not necessarily how to stay married, because I'm a very big proponent, as I know you are, Jay, of if you have a situation, you've invested time in relationship and you've married somebody and you're committed to them, then do whatever it takes to stay committed to them. Do whatever it takes to work your issues out and to stay married forever if you can. If you made that lifelong commitment till death do you part, then honor those words, till death do you part. This segment, though, is really,
as if you're past that point.
Yeah,
right?
what's the chapter after that? What's the next chapter after you're divorced, you're done, and now it's time to recreate and reinvent your life?
You could be devastated right now. You could have a part in your life where you said, I've invested my whole life. I mean, your most valuable possession is your time and your heart, right?
Right.
So you've invested a lifetime of this. Your identity has revolved around it, and now it's gone.
Yeah, it's a loss. It's a major loss. I mean, divorce in many cases is much like a death in the family or a death in your own life, right? And, so how do you manage the grieving process? How do you manage and get through the situations that you're involved in right now? I mean, you may have had children in this relationship and they're still young or they're still at home. Your finances have taken a major dive and now there's child support payment or spousal agreement or, half your assets are gone. How do you manage and navigate through that situation, right? How do you navigate through, you have friends and now they're kind of polar opposite of, or they're taking sides, or you thought that, this friend was mine and that friend's is hers, and what, you're dealing with all that shit, right?
Yeah, you really do.
You have business partners and how are they involved in all of this? And, family, immediate family, extended family, how do you integrate new parts of your new family? All of these are definitely obstacles and challenges that you now have to deal with as this next chapter of your life.
Right, and a very difficult part of your life. And this is where, the person you become and who you really are will come out now. Because it's easy to be, philosophical when in the great times. It's these hard times that will reveal where you really are.
Yeah, and I guess this, the basis of our show is called GratiTube TV, but the fundamental basis of what we're doing here is about gratitude. And, when you're on the next chapter of your life, part of what gets you through it a lot faster, to me anyways, is what am I grateful for? Yes, this was devastating. I didn't like being divorced. I don't like going through the process of divorce. It wasn't fun for me on any level, but again, I have to wake up every single day and go, okay, this is the next day. God has blessed me with today. So what am I going to do? Well, the first thing I look at is what am I grateful for? Yeah. What am I grateful for? I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for the fact that, I have probably a lot of beautiful memories of the past, however many years it was. Right.
It made you the person that you are today.
Yeah. I mean, if it's not, and a phrase that you use, Jason, and I really like it, is don't get through it, grow through it. Right. How are we growing through this situation?
Well, let's back up. You said earlier, you have three steps, really, 3 phases that you go through, and the first one was grieving, right?
Yeah.
You might not be grieving. You might go right to anger. Number 2.
You might be pissed off right out of the gate.
But you need time to grieve, even if it's something that you want. It's something that you're letting go of. It's a part of your life, such a massive part of your life that you are letting go one way or another, whether it's reluctantly or you're doing it on your own.
Yeah, I mean, grieving is a part of loss. And it's an important part of loss. It's the sadness portion of the situation. And let's face it, if you've invested, you love somebody, there is sadness with this breakup. There's sadness with this next chapter. And to avoid it and to say, no, I'm just going to move on, I'm good, I'm fine, is bullshit. I mean, look, there's going to be some sadness. And it's important that you take the time to grieve. much like in a loss of a loved one, a death of, something you lose somebody passes.
It's really the same thing. It's a death of something very big in your life. It
Right.
really is.
And so it's important that you recognize that grieving is a part of the process, and to embrace that part of the process and say, okay, I will now. I'm gonna be fully grieving of this situation and this loss.
And before or after it, you will get to anger, right?
Yeah, there's going to be some elements.
You're
More
gonna
than
be angry.
likely, you'll be pissed off, right?
It might be self-loathing. It might be angry at yourself and judging yourself. I should have done this. If I had only done that, I caused this. You get in your head.
Yeah, you get in your head. You start doing the blame game. You blame yourself. You blame others. You blame your spouse. You blame external forces for what was going on. And, to some level, there's some validity in, okay, it's not necessarily blaming, but taking onus of the situation. I'm a firm believer
And hence the grow through it.
Yeah, help grow through it. I'm a firm believer that you create, promote, or allow every single thing in your life. That we're not victims and we're not, necessarily we just get lucky or unlucky. No, we create, promote, or allow any of those three things in our life. So, when a person asks you for a divorce or wants to separate, wants to let you go in a company, wants to stop being friends with you, whatever the breaking part is, it's partly because you created, promoted, or allow a situation to happen that brought this on in the first place. I mean, when we're dating somebody, right? Obviously, got our best hat on, and we're doing all the romantic things, and then they call it the honeymoon period. Well, why do they call it a honeymoon period? Why isn't it the honeymoon all the time?
Right.
Why don't we just embrace the things that we used to gain our mate, gain our the person that we're with, and just keep using them?
Or on the other side of maybe you were not the person that you really are, and you acquiesced to a certain way of being in a relationship, or the other person did. They changed.
Yeah.
They were faking. They always say you don't really know somebody for at least 6 months because then the true self starts to come out. But one way or another, there's a change, right?
One way or another, there's a change, and part of that change, honestly, could be just you become complacent. You stop being grateful for what was amazing in your relationship at the beginning of it, right?
It's right. Gratefulness, right? Because if you're not grateful for what you have, then you're going to stop treating that person. And what happens when you stop treating that person with the same vigor of a new relationship, right?
Yeah.
It's going to happen. So it doesn't have to happen.
Nope.
If you look at it with gratefulness and you work towards anything that you want that's important to you, you should focus on. If you're focusing on it, then you can do interesting and fun things to keep it alive and keep it spicy.
Yeah. And you know what? Again, we're going to bring in some subject matter experts that are real great marriage counselors and people that are great relationships experts that will talk about how to keep a relationship fresh and how to keep your marriage alive. Again, we're on the other side of it, so we're talking about what's the next chapter, and definitely grieving is part of that, right? Grieving is part of it, and anger. I understand that anger is part of that. I guess another part of that really is forgiveness. I'm a firm believer that forgiveness is giving up all hope for a better past. Yeah. I'm going to say that again. Forgiveness is giving up all hope for a better past. We cannot change the past. Right. We cannot make a different story as to what already happened. So what we can do, though, is forgive it. We can forgive ourselves for our behavior in that. Yeah. We can forgive the other person as far as that relationship. And that's a very, very healthy phase to go through, is forgiveness. And that might not be easy.
And it gets you out of the why me phase. Why me? Why me? Why now? You got to get out of that phase. And forgiveness is a good way to do that.
It is. It's a great way to do that. And, again...
And forgive yourself, too, right? You got to forgive yourself, too. If you think that there's things that you did... You got to forgive yourself because you're not going to be able to move forward with another relationship until you do.
Yeah, forgive yourself. There's other components you're going to have to start dealing with. There's going to be your children, right? There's going to be your finances. There's going to be your family. And I guess, with kids, that's a real...
Let's talk about the kids.
Sure.
So many people involve their kids in divorce that it's just disgusting. Your kids should not know the difference, and there's ways to do that, but, and there's a million. But there's some really specific things you shouldn't do, right? You shouldn't be putting things in your kid's head. You shouldn't use them as tools. You shouldn't use them as pawns. They should have no idea of any of this. It should be done with class, elegance, sophistication. That's how you should be dealing with the kids when you're going through a divorce. Those kids should not be tools. They should be, it should be as innocent as it was for them.
Yeah, and kids are intuitive, man. Kids know when things aren't going right, and kids can sense when there's anger, especially as they get into their teenage years. They certainly know when mom and dad aren't doing great.
Yep.
Okay. But it's not their issue; it's your issue, and so don't bring your children into your dispute. Don't bring your children don't use them as leverage for what you want to negotiate with.
Awful.
And it's not a cool thing to do.
But where you are, right? You're divorced now. Most likely your self-esteem took a hit, your self-confidence took a hit.
Yep.
Right. So now it's okay. I got to rebuild. Guess what? It's an exciting opportunity to rebuild your life. It's a new chapter in your life.
It really is.
But it really is going to have to start with picking yourself up off the ground. And one way to do that is, number one, be grateful. Start every day being grateful. And secondly, start a new discipline every single day. Because once you make yourself do the necessary things, you start to gain some self-confidence and some self-esteem. And build yourself up. And then I implore you to be completely transparent with everyone hereafter. If you weren't as transparent in your last relationship, make a promise to yourself to be transparent and be yourself.
Sure.
Don't be an old dog that can't learn new tricks,
right?
But be yourself. Don't hide who you are. This is who I am. Old. Right? But you got a clean slate. It's a great opportunity. And yes, you're going to be fearful, right? You feel like, oh, I'm this age, I'm single, and it's really scary.
Should I be swiping left or up, or I don't know.
Right, yeah, Bumble.
What am I doing?
Right, but by the way, those tools were not available, for most people, but they are available now.
Yeah.
And it's pretty amazing, the dating sites that you can get on and so forth.
Stick with old school, okay? Just stick with old school.
Yeah, I haven't
go meet somebody organically and just, anyhow.
But how do you meet people organically? You can get out into the community, and that doesn't mean get out into the bar scene. It means find yourself on a committee in a nonprofit that you're passionate about. Bury yourself a little bit in your business if it takes your mind off of certain things, because it's going to insert you into the populace. It's going to get you around other people.
Throw yourself into the gym. I mean, absolutely.
Yes.
Motion creates emotion, and motion also keeps you healthy, and it also creates endorphins, which then give you good feelings and helps with that attitude of gratitude, if you will. Make sure that you don't compromise your health in your diet and moving around, because it definitely does help the situation. Helps get you in that state of, okay, I'm ready to take on the next level. It's the state of resolve. When you hit the state of resolve, it's I accept where I am right now. I accept the situation right now. I'm not going to continue to live in the past. I'm going to grow myself forward. Today is the first day of the rest of my life. Not to sound trite about that, but it is. I mean, every day is the first day of the rest of your life. Yeah. And we're here for a good time, not a long time. So let's make the best of what's going on. All right?
Yeah, and don't, whatever you do, don't settle. There is somebody out there for you that you will click with, perhaps like never before. And when it clicks, you'll say, oh my God, I have never had a relationship like this. I've never been this forthcoming, this transparent. And if you lay the foundation that says, we're going to have unprecedented communication flow between us. We're not going to talk about things after we've been sitting on them and starting to build resentment. Just lay it out right from the beginning.
Well, that's that transparency you were talking about earlier. Right?
In our last one of our last episodes.
Fully transparent. And that's fully transparent about your faults too. Fully transparent about your dreams. Fully transparent about where you're going. Again, there's
the truth will set you free. It really will. You don't have to look over your shoulder. You don't have to pretend to be somebody else. When you did that, this is how I felt. You're not saying you're this or you're that. You're saying when you did this or when you said that, this is how it made me feel. And if you don't talk about it, then they might say, oh, you know what? It's just old habit. I'll work on that. Or they might say, that's not what I meant. This is what at least you're talking about it. Because that's probably what brought you to divorce in a lot of cases. Yeah. The lack of communication.
The truth will set you free. Yeah. But first it'll piss you off.
Yeah, it will make you angry. That's right.
It'll piss you off.
Okay. It can, or it's enlightening,
Yeah, it is.
Just be truthful. Exactly. To yourself too.
So take time to grieve. Forgive yourself. Understand that anger is probably part of the process, and then get to resolve. Look yourself in the mirror and go, what am I grateful for? I mean, there's so much more we could talk about. We're hitting like 15 minutes on this thing right now, so...
Too long.
I don't know about too long, because I'm interesting.
We're trying to keep...
I don't know, but... I'm pretty interesting.
We're trying to keep them brief, but, this is a heavy subject.
Yeah,
and we're going to have more speakers and experts on this not just for staying in a marriage and making it the best possible thing in the world, but for also dealing with divorce too. We'll revisit this.
Yeah.
Obviously, because more than half of marriages end in divorce.
Yeah, unfortunately. Anyways, though, I hope that we were able to shed some light on maybe your next chapter. If you have questions about this stuff, please, put the comments in the field under GratiTube TV. You can find us on YouTube, and please subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, GratiTube TV on YouTube, and our website is gratitube.org. But on our YouTube channel, please subscribe. Please comment. If you have things that have worked for you, comment. Share it with the folks.
Share with the folks, and if you need help, just hit us up. We're here to help you as well. So,
well, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
It's another great day here in Tampa Bay.
Have a great day.
Have a great day.
Thanks.
See ya.